Hey everybody, what is up? It's the Tominator. So let's take a look at the New York Pro. This is footage from the prejudging of the top four callouts. So from left to right, we have Justin Rodriguez, Jonathan De La Rosa, Juan Morel, and Nathan De Asha. So the top two are definitely going to be some combination of Juan Morel and Nathan De Asha. Probably Nathan De Asha is going to pull it off, but we'll see. I'm not sure. The contest should be over pretty soon. Might even be over by the time this video is posted. But as of right now, I'm not sure who won. Anyway, I'm going to be focusing most of my attention on the two guys on the right because it is really kind of a two-horse race. It's a dogfight between Juan Morel and Nathan De Asha. So I'm going to focus most of my attentions on them, but it's not to take away from Justin Rodriguez or Jonathan De La Rosa. It's just that they're not quite in the running, so I'm not going to focus my analysis on them as much. But let's go through these poses. So it has to be said right off the bat that nobody really brought the top-notch conditioning. Juan Morel was the closest in that regard, but even him, he probably could have dried out a little bit more as well. So there's that. But, everybody's pretty full, everybody's pretty big, and they are impressive in their own right. So I do have to mention that the way that Nathan De Asha is hitting this pose, I really don't like it. I get what he's going for. He's trying to do that more artistic, tilt thing, a la Kai Green or Victor Martinez, but he's really not pulling it off, and I think he would look better if he just hit it in the conventional fashion. So for that reason, I would probably give this pose to Juan Morel just because I think overall he is the best. Sure, he doesn't have the biggest arms, and certainly downstairs he's being outsized by basically everybody on stage here from the front anyway. We'll see what's what when they turn to the side. It's a different story then. But from the front, yes, his quads are not as good. His calves are almost non-existent. But he is the sharpest. He has a nice flow through the upper body. The pecs, the lats, the shoulders are huge. And I just see the most definition on the guy. Everybody else looks too smooth. That's really what it comes down to. Jonathan De La Rosa there beside him looks good, but that belly button, man, it's just really marring it and it's spoiling it for me. It looks gross, and he's overall too smooth, but he really does have that kind of short, stocky look that I think would be more suitable for the 212 division. Now, he probably weighs more than 212 pounds, which is why he's competing in the open class, but he just kind of has that build, and I think he'd fare better there as opposed to the open class. But I mean, if he takes as high as third in this show, that's not too shabby. So I probably shouldn't be knocking the guy. Justin Rodriguez there on the left. He has some impressive features. He's got the massive arms. His legs are huge as well, and his back's really wide. We'll see that in certain poses. But his waistline is also way too wide for my liking, and it's a little bit bloated, a little distended. His symmetry is very poor in this show. I mean, that left arm, so the one that's on our right, but his left arm, it looks way bigger than the right. Even through the lats, they don't look symmetrical. Through the legs as well. His whole body looks a little bit off to me. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was last in this call out with De La Rosa in third, and it's probably going to be Nathan De Asha winning. But Juan Morel looks pretty good, so I would give him the front double bicep. Let's move on. Nathan De Asha could probably take this one, but his posing is a little suspect in this show. I think it's something he needs to work on. We'll see that as they go through some other mandatories. But in the front lat spread, Juan looks very good here, and I might even be tempted to give it to him from this vantage point. But at the end of this video, I have some more footage where it's just the two of them, and it's clearly Nathan De Asha, I would say, taking the front lat spread. But from this camera angle, I might be tempted to give it to Juan. I mean, he looks very good. He's definitely super wide through the shoulders. His chest is phenomenal. He's got some of the thickest pecs in the IFBB, bar none. That includes the likes of, Phil Heath and Big Rammies, right? So this guy's pecs are just crazy. That said, it's a front lat spread, not a front pec spread. So in the lat department, he's good as well, but he's not really dominating anybody there. De La Rosa's filling it out admirably as well, as is Nathan De Asha. And I think Nathan De Asha, if for no other reason but his legs, he's winning this pose because he's got more quad sweep and, he's got that nice X frame. So De La Rosa looks very good too. A little bit blocky, though. That's kind of my only complaint about him in this show. Of course, the lack of conditioning. set aside. But when they turn to the side here in this side chest pose, this is Juan Morel's pose, man. He is wiping the floor with these guys. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that, but look at the legs now. Suddenly in the lower body, Juan is whooping everybody because he's the only guy with any definition there. Look at the cuts, look at the lines and everything through the side leg. Look at the hamstring sweep as well. I mean, he's the only guy with any definition in the lower body, and size-wise, he's comparing rather favorably now, much more so than it was from the front, right? And look at the chest, man. I mean, what more can you say? If you want to have that 3D effect, you can't really get much better than this. And he looks good through the shoulders, through the arms as well. The midsection is not too distended or anything. So I think he's nailing it. I really think that Juan Morel in this side chest pose here, this is one of the best side chests I have seen in a long time. You know, this is Olympia worthy, okay? This would fare well next to anybody on the Olympia stage, and let alone a smaller show like the New York Pro. So here he's just dusting people. Again, not to take away from these other guys, De La Rosa looks pretty good as well, as does Nathan DeAsha. Justin Rodriguez, it's not really doing it for me. His chest looks way too flat. That's pretty much it. And when the rest of your body is that smooth, I'm sorry, it just doesn't quite cut it. De La Rosa looks good as well, but I mean, again, it's just there's no definition. I don't see any cuts. I don't see much separation. And same with the Asha. Other than through the shoulders, which are neatly separated, and a little bit of definition through the midsection, I don't see much muscle definition on the guy. So for that reason, Juan takes this, and it's a runaway. And when they turn around, I believe the camera is going to zoom in at this point, and unfortunately, we're not going to get a proper look at the back double just yet, but luckily the footage at the end will rectify that problem, and we will see a full body shot of the back double, and I think the rear lat spread as well. I'm not sure, though. Can't remember. So you see how it zooms in here. I don't know why they bother with this stuff, but the one good thing when they zoom in is that we can catch those finer details, and you can see that Juan has the edge in definition, if only very slightly. But, I mean, I think his back compares very favorably to Nathan DeAsha's. I think it's actually a little bit better, but not so much in the rear lat spread. DeAsha definitely has a better V-taper. Yeah, DeAsha's taken that one, I think, quite handily. But thickness-wise, Juan measures up very well. So in the back double, he looks really good, I think. In the ab and thigh, I'm going to freeze it if I can get them all doing it at once. So DeAsha kind of does this little, it's like a hybrid between an ab and thigh and a hands-on hip most muscular. I think it actually suits him very well. I haven't seen too many other bodybuilders actually doing it in this fashion. Not with the hand on the hip. I've seen it where they kind of hold the hand in front of the hip a little bit. I don't think I've ever really seen any bodybuilder do it quite like this. So, it's nice when they, I was criticizing his posing in that front double bicep, but in cases like this, I think he's actually, pulling it off. I think it works for him. So, that said, Juan definitely has the deepest cuts through the abdominals. I mean, you can tell that he is the best conditioned of the lot here quite easily. Just look through the midsections. It's no contest. But through the thighs, he definitely comes up short. So he's not really showing much separation there through the quads, and he really kind of needs that in order to hang with these guys with the bigger thighs. So at least from the lower body standpoint. But overall, I mean, I think he fares very well. I think he's definitely better than the two on the left. These guys, their midsections are just too bloated and messy, and they're holding way too much water overall. So I think it comes down to, once again, Juan Morel and Nathan DeAsha. You could go either way on this one. I think we're going to need another look at it from maybe a different angle, a little bit more zoomed in perhaps. But, it depends what you favor, man. If you're more into the legs, then you're going to go with the Asha. Or if you're more into overall balance and proportions, I think that the Asha has that. But if you're more into conditioning, then you got to go with Juan. So that's what it is. And that's kind of like just overall for this show, you could say that, in fact. In the most muscular. So once again, Juan, through the pecs and shoulders, is just fantastic. But his arms are a little lackluster, especially compared to someone with some real guns like the Asha, who I think is definitely more balanced in this pose. But again, he's not as cut, so he doesn't have quite as much of a polished look. Justin Rodriguez over there in the crab looks like a monster, and Jonathan De La Rosa looks pretty good as well. Those two are definitely very close, I think. They're going to be in a battle for third, but I think De La Rosa is going to take it. So now we're gonna get they're gonna pretty much set those two guys on the left aside, and we're gonna take a more focused look at the top two. Okay, so Juan Morel, Nathan DeAsha. In the front relaxed, you got to go with DeAsha. He's got much better flare through the lats and better V-taper. You can see it right here now. From this angle, I would give it to Nathan DeAsha all day, man. I mean, I think his taper is superior. I think his X-frame is undeniably much better. So that's, that added flare and sweep through the quads is giving him that that X-frame illusion, right? Whereas Juan's legs just don't quite measure up to his upper body, especially when we're talking about the calves, but even the quads as well. I mean, he's got pretty big adductor muscles, but he just doesn't have the sweep, and he doesn't have as good of shape through the quads as DeAsha. So, and upstairs, I think, yeah, DeAsha's got a better V-taper. He's taking it, man. In the front double, though, I think DeAsha, once again, he kind of shoots himself in the foot. He's not presenting himself to the fullest, so I just don't like that, the way that he hits that one. So I would give it to Juan once again. Here we're going to take a better look at the back double bicep. And you're going to see, once again, I think in these two double bicep poses, Nathan DeAsha looks a little awkward. He looks kind of like Rolly in this one, how Rolly Winkler used to look, where it looked like he was kind of struggling to hold it, and he just didn't look comfortable. And I feel like that's what DeAsha is showing us right here. It doesn't look natural to me. I don't know if you guys are seeing that as well, but just even the curvature of his spine, it looks like he's got some weird scoliosis thing going on. It throws off his symmetry and his lines and everything. And I don't think he's presenting himself as well as he could be. So for that reason, I would give it to Juan for sure. I think his back looks definitely more impressive. It looks thicker. I don't know if it is, but it's definitely more defined, so it's creating that illusion. He's definitely a little tighter through the lower body as well. His shoulders are just as big, if not bigger, and they're more separated. So the only thing I would really give to DeAsha in this pose right here, yeah, he's got the quad sweep, but that's not really the main factor of a back double bicep. It's mostly the arms. That's especially the biceps in particular. That's really his only advantage in this pose, I'd say, over Juan. So I don't think it's enough. I would give it to Juan Morel in the back double bicep. And what are we going to do here? Most muscular? I think it's most muscular. Nope, ab and thigh. Okay, so now we got a closer look, and yes, Juan is more conditioned. You can see that through the midsection, but is it enough? I'm not quite so sure. When we're talking about DeAsha's thighs being that much bigger and better, I don't know. Take your pick, guys. I don't know. You tell me. I like these zoomed in looks, though. You can see all the vascularity through Juan's pecs and shoulders there, which you don't catch from from a more far off perspective, right? So it is nice sometimes when they zoom in because you can catch the finer details that you'd otherwise would miss. But in the most muscular overall, yes, Juan looks like a beast when we're looking at that upper shelf of his massive pecs and his boulder shoulders and his traps and everything. But the arms, again, they're not quite as good as DeAsha's. They're still not bad, don't get me wrong, but I think DeAsha overall, he just fills out his frame a little bit better. He's a little bit more balanced. And I would probably give him the most muscular, but not by much. I would probably give DeAsha the show, at least based off of this prejudging. But again, not by much. I think a lot of people think that DeAsha is running away with this. I don't think so, guys. He's not going to get a perfect score. That I can virtually guarantee you. I think that definitely some judges are going to go with Juan Morel, especially the sticklers for conditioning. They're definitely going to have to probably vote for Juan Morel, even though his legs come up short and he's not quite as balanced and definitely not as genetically gifted as Nathan DeAsha. But conditioning-wise, he's definitely outdoing the kid there. So, yeah, that's what's up, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is just how I see it. And, yeah, the show hasn't been officially... Well, it might be over now at this point, but I haven't heard at this point what the official results are. So, yeah. But I would guess DeAsha's gonna squeak it out, and Juan's gonna have to settle for runner-up. So, thank you all for watching, and feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more. Until next time, I'm the Tominator signing off, and
I'll be back.